You likely know the feeling, the promise you made to yourself this morning. You would exercise after work. You would write before bed. You would go to sleep at a reasonable hour. It's now 10 p.m. You're on the couch scrolling, and there is a low-grade hum of guilt in the background. Not loud enough to stop you, loud enough to keep you from fully relaxing. Most people think the cost of breaking a promise is the missed outcome. The workout that didn't happen, the page that didn't get written, that's a consequence. But that is not the real cost. The real cost is the slow accumulation of self-distrust. Every broken promise trains your brain not to believe you when you say you will do something. The conditioned self keeps the ledger. The inner critic gets a little louder. The background hum becomes the baseline of your emotional life. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Consistency, from fitness to flourishing. What goes quiet when you follow through? When you keep a promise, something specific happens. The negotiation stops. The voice that was bargaining, justifying, and rationalizing its special case has nothing left to argue. The case is closed. The open tab is paid. This is not the dopamine spike of accomplishment. It's deeper than that. It's the relief of the internal prosecutor laying down the file, the cognitive load of, when will I do this? Will I do this? Why haven't I done this yet? Disappears entirely. The default mode network can stop spinning on the open loop. You can actually rest. The passage I use in episode 345 discussing Shibumi applies directly here. Begin quote, "Good form is good form, and it stands immutable in the storm of circumstance." End quote. Keeping a promise is not a major virtue. It's a minor one. But the minor virtues are more reliable because they are procedural rather than abstract. You cannot rationalize your way out of, did I do what I said I would do? The question is binary, yes or no. The answer produces either the hum or the silence. The identity feedback loop. One kept promise likely won't change your life. 100 kept promises change who you are and how you show up in the world. Each time you follow through, you are not just completing a task. You are sending a signal to your own brain. This is someone who keeps their word. The brain updates the model. The identity stabilizes. The person who exercises, writes, and gets to bed on time is still who you are. The opposite is also true. Each broken promise is a signal that the identity is negotiable, that you cannot be relied upon, that the standard bends under pressure. The self-distrust compounds until the background hum of broken promises becomes the dominant emotional state. The person who keeps their word has settled into themselves. The person who does not is still negotiating, still bargaining, still living in the open tabs. This is why behavioral recommitment, covered in episode 357, is one of the 3 most leveraged skills of self-coaching. The person who returns to the standard quickly, who makes the smallest promise and keeps it, minimizes the damage of a single lapse. They preserve the identity continuity. The streak survives because the promise was small enough to keep. The smallest promise that still counts. The relief is available at any scale. It does not require a grandiose promise. It requires a promise you know you can keep. The 2-minute workout, the 50 words on the page, the 1 minute of stillness. The promise must be small enough that keeping it is nearly automatic. The point is not the outcome. The point is the signal. You told yourself you would do it. You did it. You moved forward. The case is closed. The weight lifts. If you have been living in the background hum of broken promises, the fix is not to make ever bigger promises. It's to shrink the promise until the gap between intention and execution is too small to miss. That is the floor for self-trust and integrity, the smallest version that still counts as progress. The takeaway. Peace isn't mystical. It's mechanical. It's what happens when your actions stop arguing with your intentions. Every kept promise is a rep for identity. Every broken one is a rep for doubt. That hum you feel at the end of the day is the signal that you are out of alignment. And alignment is not rebuilt through intensity. It's rebuilt through consistency, through the micro acts of integrity that close the gap between who you say you are and what you actually do. When the gap closes, even by one small act, the internal negotiation ends. The default mode network stops spinning. The emotional static clears. You return to yourself. The finish line is irrelevant. The streak is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is the next promise you make and keep. Because the moment you follow through, the hum goes quiet. And in that quiet, identity stabilizes. Peace becomes available again. You don't need a transformation. You need one clean rep of integrity. One kept promise. That's all it takes to begin. If you're ready to upgrade the quality of your consistency, join the Act Score Challenge. Stack days of follow-through, not excuses. That's it for today. Catch you next time.